My name is Martina Di Piazza. I'm a lawyer and I serve UNIDO ATPO Italy office as gender focal point. And I'm thrilled and extremely honored to moderate this remarkable event and be with you today. Today, we have the opportunity to reflect, recognize, and celebrate the role of women as leaders of inclusive and sustainable industrial development. This webinar is not only about sharing successful stories, but also about looking ahead, taking tangible action, promoting inclusive and open dialogue, learning from each other's best practices, but last but not least, building an entrepreneurial community and global network across countries. We are honored to have representatives from 5 countries, Lebanon, Iraq, Ghana, Egypt, and Italy, including distinguished speakers from ministries, the private sectors, and academia. At ITPO Italy, we have designed this webinar to ensure that no one is left behind, bringing together diverse expertise and perspective, and fostering connection between public institution, university, and private sector. Before officially open the session, allow me to underline and say loudly that gender equality and empowerment of women is not only a fundamental human rights imperative, but a driver of economic and sustainable growth. Achieving SDGs 5 of the UN Agenda 2030 requires the active engagement of men as allies, supporting and promoting women's empowerment in industry. Embracing the he for she approach, we recognize that sustainable and industrial development requires shared responsibility where both women and men collaborate together in fostering industrial development and shaping a more inclusive and equal social ecosystem. Thank you for your attention. And now I'm pleased to officially open the webinar and invite the welcome remarks of Ms. Diana Battaglia, head of UNIDO ATPO Italy. She's currently on mission in Philadelphia to mark this important occasion and launch our global call. Although she cannot be with us in person, she wishes to join us through a recorded message. Please, Diana, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. It is my great honor to welcome you to this webinar organized by UNIDO ATPO Italy on the occasion of the International Day of Women in Industry. I also wish to express my regret for not being able to join you live. I'm currently in Philadelphia, USA, to attend the Global Business Forum by the World Trade Center Association to launch our joint initiative, the UNIDO Blue Economy Global Call 2026. The time zone difference has prevented me from attending this webinar in the real time. However, I'm honored to share this message and still take part in this meaningful exchange. This significant day established by UNIDO represent a global opportunity to recognize, celebrate, and advance to the essential role of women in industrial development. It is a moment that invites all of us to reflect on progress achieved, while also reaffirming our commitment to addressing structural barriers that still limit women's full and equal participation in industry and economic life. Today, under the theme Women Shaping the Future of Industry, we come together not only to celebrate the achievements of women in industrial development, but also to underscore our shared determination to advancing gender equality and women's economic empowerment as a fundamental pillar of sustainable progress. I'm confident that today's discussions will not only inspire reflection, but also contribute to strengthening cooperation, generating new ideas, and encouraging concrete action in support of a more inclusive and equitable industrial future. I express my gratitude to all participants joining this webinar, and I wish you all a highly productive and inspiring discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Diana, for your inspiring message and for your continued leadership in advancing gender equality. Now it's my pleasure to give the floor to our next speaker, Ms. Lumei Xu, Director of UNIDO ATPO Network, who will further contribute to our dialogue. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Martina. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great pleasure for me to join you at this important event on the occasion of the International Day of Women in Industry. We just had a big celebration yesterday in Vienna. I would like to start by congratulating Diana and her team in organizing this timely and meaningful event. I'm also very glad to share with you that besides ITPO Italy, several other ITPOs are also celebrating the important day by organizing awareness-raising events globally, such as in China, in Bahrain, which reflects the strong commitment of our network to advancing one of UNIDO's key priorities, gender equality and the empowerment of women. As you may know, that UNIDO ITP network plays a very important role in connecting investment, technology, innovation, and partnerships across regions. Through our 10 global offices, we help create opportunities for enterprises, facilitate international cooperation, and support industrial growth in developing and emerging economies. Gender equality is a fundamental cross-cutting mandate of UNIDO. It is also essential for stronger industries and more resilient economies. When women have equal access to finance, technology, skills, leadership, and the market, societies prosper and industries become more innovative and competitive. This is why gender mainstreaming across the UNIDO ITP network remains a key priority. I'm proud to say that many of our ITPOs are actively applying a gender mainstreaming approach in their daily work by integrating gender perspective in their design of the programs, in their implementing of the projects, including partnerships, investment promotion efforts, and the internal operations. We promote women-led entrepreneurship, supporting women in industry supply chains, and encourage women's leadership. Gender equality and mainstreaming are promoted not only in our programs, but also in the culture and the operations of our office worldwide. Several successful stories of projects implemented by our ITPOs have been shared by our colleagues in the Gender Equality Divisions. Today's theme, Women Shaping the Future of Industry, is both inspiring and accurate. Women are already shaping future as entrepreneurs, innovators, policymakers, investors, and also leaders. Let's continue working together to build the industrial ecosystems where women and men contribute equally as partners in progress. Once again, I would like to thank UNIDO ITPO Italy for organizing this excellent event, and I hope all the participants are inspiring and a productive discussion. I thank you.
Thank you very much for your insightful remarks and for your strong leadership in advancing gender equality. Now, it's my genuine pleasure to give the floor to our next speaker, Ms. Aurelia Patricia Calabrò, Director of UNIDO Gender Division. We will further enrich our discussion with valuable insights. Please, Aurelia, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I am Aurelia Patrizia.
Patrizia.
Dear Lumei, dear Diana, distinguished guests and colleagues, good morning and welcome all of you joining us today. As Director of UNIDO Division for Gender Equality and the Empowerment of Women, it is my absolute pleasure to open this webinar organized by UNIDO ITPO Italy in celebration of the International Day of Women in Industry under the powerful theme Women Shaping the Future of Industry. I would like to warmly acknowledge our distinguished speakers and participants connecting with us from Lebanon, Iraq, Egypt, Ghana, and Italy. Your presence reflects the truly global nature of this conversation and our shared commitment to building a more inclusive industrial future. Observed each year on 21st of April, the International Day of Women in Industry celebrates women's contributions to industrial development and promotes a more inclusive and equitable future for industry worldwide. The day was proclaimed by the UNIDO General Conference at the Global Industry Summit 2025 in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and marks the entry into force of UNIDO first gender policy in 2009, underscored our long-standing commitment to gender equality. Yesterday's celebration of the International Day of Women in Industry and today's event are important reminders that the gender equality is not only a matter of human rights, but is also a key driver of economic growth, innovation, and sustainable industrial development. Yet, despite progress, women remain significantly underrepresented across industrial value chains and leadership roles, particularly in STEM fields and profit and loss responsibility positions. Across the world, barriers related to access to resources, finance, technology, networks, and decision-making roles continue to limit women's full participation in it. We are very happy to work with the UNIDO ITPO Italy that is always bridging, working to bridge countries, investors, and opportunities, supporting women-led and women-owned enterprises, fostering inclusive industrial projects, and promoting international partnership and investment flow. This work reflects a strong recognition that advancing gender equality requires shared responsibility, and it actively embraces the he for she approach, calling on men and women alike across public and private sectors to act as agents of change. Today's webinar will spotlight practical success stories, replicable models, and lessons learned from different regions, encouraging open dialogue and stronger global collaboration for gender equality and women's empowerment. We hope today's discussion will inspire concrete partnerships and actions beyond this webinar. Thank you for being with us today and for your commitment to advancing inclusive industrial development. Thank you very much and grazie mille. A voi.
Many thanks for your valuable insights and for your outstanding leadership in advancing gender equality agenda. Your daily work in promoting and sharing gender equality and women's empowerment within UNIDO is essential, and it continues to inspire and guide our work across the organization. So thank you again. Now we come to the end of our open session and dive into our first panel, Women Driving Industrial Innovation. This panel will explore how women entrepreneurs are shaping the future of industry through innovation, resilience, and strategic partnership. As we open this discussion, I would like to invite you, all of you, my dear speakers, to briefly share your business journey and the key milestones, highlight, and relevant partnership, including with UNIDO ITPO Italy, and leave us with one key message on how women entrepreneurs can shape the future of industry. So now it's my pleasure to introduce our first speaker, Ms. Claudine Tuma, owner of Chateau Saint Thomas, a family-run winery and a beneficiary of a project supported by UNIDO ITPO Italy. She represents a remarkable example of leadership, having recently received an international award for women empowerment in recognition of her ability to lead her business while inspiring and supporting her wider community. So please, Claudine, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Martina, for your introduction. Good morning, everyone, dear friends and guests. I'm so grateful actually being among you all, especially you, strong, resilient leader woman. I'm so honored in this important webinar led by UNIDO ITPO Italy to celebrate the International Day for Women in Industry. Thank you so much, UNIDO, for this amazing opportunity. Let me share with you my representation in order to get to know me more with my family business.
Okay, now we can see your presentation, Claudine.
Okay. I come from Lebanon. Lebanon has been producing wine for more than 6,000 years, starting from Greco-Roman era, Baalbek, Temple of Bacchus, god of wine, till today. Wine has always been part of our culture. Okay. Here is Lebanon, where it's located in the map of Mediterranean. Winemaking exists across different regions in Lebanon. Jizyan area in the south, Batroun area in the north, Mount of Lebanon, and the biggest area is in the Bekaa Valley. We have 4 seasons in Lebanon during the year. And here, in the heart of the Bekaa Valley, Chateau Saint-Thomas is located. This is a photo of our cellar. Hopefully one day you will come and visit us. Today we are talking about women in industry. When we speak about industry, we speak about, especially in Lebanon, we speak about survival. Lebanon has been known for its history, its resilience, its culture, but also in recent years for its crisis. Over the past 7 years, we have faced one of the worst economic crises in modern history. Access to capital has nearly disappeared. Our currency has lost most of its value. Infrastructure is so fragile. Political instability is constant. The explosion of the port of Beirut was horrible. The war now is so crucial and terrifying, but yet we continue to produce, we continue to build, we continue to believe. Lebanese people, men and women, are born and raised to survive. My name is Claudine Touma, Claudine Said Touma. I'm one of the owner and head of quality control of Chateau Saint-Thomas, a family-owned business that has been passed down through generation. I oversee quality across all aspects of the business to ensure we maintain the highest, excuse me. Okay. So I'm from Chateau Saint-Thomas. I work to maintain the highest standards. I'm so passionate about women's empowerment in the wine industry, and I work to create more opportunities for women to lead in this field. I thrive on growing and evolving our family business, blending tradition with innovation to deliver excellence while using sustainable practices and techniques. I come from a family who produce the traditional Lebanese drink, Arak Touma, since 1888. We are the 5th generation. I appreciate and respect my grandmother, who was 36 years old when she lost her husband in a car accident, and excuse me, and leaving her with 5 kids. Can you imagine how hard it is at that time for a widow living in a small village to raise by herself this big family and to lead as well by herself a factory of arak I really admire her resilience and the way she managed to keep the business alive in a male-dominated field. My late father, Said Touma, is a very passionate arak and wine maker. Actually, we inherited his passion from him. He established Chateau Saint-Thomas in 1998, a family winery in Kabylias, located in the Bekaa Valley, along with my brother, Joe Assad, my two sisters, Natalie and Micheline, and my mom. Joe Assad Touma, CEO, is an agricultural engineer, enologist, vice president of National Institute of Wine and Wine. My sister Nathalie, general director and in charge of export market at the chateau. My sister Micheline is the president of Union Viticole du Liban. And of course, I wish to take the moment to express my deepest respect and appreciation to my mother Nadia, who supports and blesses every step we do. I'm a working mother of 4 kids, Joël, Toufi, Dimitri, and Nicolas. I try to do my best to balance between my job and my family life. It can be challenging sometimes, or most of the times, but I feel so lucky having their support. Their support means everything to me, and it makes me feel so grateful to be able to keep on going every day. I feel myself so lucky as well to be part of Touma's family. I wouldn't have been here today without the great support of my late father, Said Touma, who believed in our energy. He gave us a system to work within and assigned clear roles to each one of us, which continue to guide how we run the winery today. I'm also so grateful to my brother Joe Assad, who strongly believes in this system and norm of gender equality and has standardized it in our environment that is usually only run by men. We were raised with strong values, including gender equality. I'm truly grateful for that foundation. This is our range of wine. We have our entry level, white, rosé, and red, Les Emirs, our bestseller. Our bottle high-end rosé Nour El Ain, Obeidi, Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and Chateau Saint-Thomas. Actually, there's a story of challenge behind every single bottle of Chateau Saint-Thomas. Chateau Saint-Thomas is working on local varieties, Obeidi in particular, and as well, it's working on international varieties, Pinot Noir, Merlot, Chardonnay, and Cabernet Sauvignon. Chateau Saint-Thomas did a big achievement for the Lebanese wine industry by reviving local varieties, in particular Obeidi, through studies made by Chateau Saint-Thomas team led by Joe Assad Touma. We pioneered this major step in a time where no one within this industry believed in this project because it's very challenging and so hard to work with local varieties in wine making, because these varieties are very sensitive to oxidation. The idea and the message behind it was to have an identity for Lebanese wine, leaving a trademark, just like how wine countries worldwide have their own known business varieties. For example, in Italy, we have Sangiovese. In Greece, we have Assertico. And also, Chateau Saint-Thomas was a pioneer as well in keeping the Arabic name of the grape by itself on the label. Like this is Obeidi, but we pronounce it in Arabic Obeidi. As well, Chateau Saint-Thomas is a pioneer in producing the first Pinot Noir in Lebanon. And because of this bottle, the flag of Lebanon now is present on the map of Pinot Noir du Monde. Chateau Saint-Thomas is entering international market through the international varieties planted in Lebanese terroir. As well, Chateau Saint-Thomas is creating a job and supporting rural economy. Because it's promoting Lebanon globally, it is positioned as industry ambassador to the world. Chateau Saint-Thomas is planting local varieties that adapt to the terroir and climate change using solar panel energy to be eco-friendly. We plant roses around the vineyard to attract insects, and then we produce rose water from it. We plant za'atar around the vineyard as well, or thyme, to repel insects, and as well we use za'atar in our daily routine. Honey beehives to facilitate pollination and develop more the biodiversity around the winery. As well, we use the honey. We produce verjus from the unripe grape. And I would like to share with you my experience with Unido ITPO Italy. Thank you, Unido. Thank you, Diana, for everything. Last September, actually, in Campidoglio in Rome, during the Premio Internazionale Evento Donna, I was honored to receive the Women Empowerment Award presented to me by my beloved dear Martina Di Piazza. Once again, thanks to Unido ITPO, I have been recognized as an inspiring leader and as an outstanding example of gender empowerment. Being among such inspiring women leaders from around the world was a true privilege and a reminder of our shared journey towards empowerment. As well as I was one of the participants of Unido during my trip to Udine. I had a very enriching and valuable experience. I learned a lot about modern viticulture and enology, especially how climate change is affecting vineyards and how the wine industry is adapting through new techniques and technologies. We got a lot of interesting lectures from very interesting professors, and we gained important insights from visiting wineries and nurseries. Actually, we got a lot of experience that strengthened my knowledge, broadened my perspective, and gave me new ideas to apply. And to conclude, from Lebanon to the world, we are not only producing wine, we are shaping the industry. And also, I would like to add, despite what happened around us, let's pray, let's breathe, let's stay positive, and let's live the moment. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you, Claudine, for your inspiring intervention. Your story is not only about building a successful business, but it's also about carrying forward your values, the passion, and the legacy of your family. It's truly a powerful example of how entrepreneurship can create both economic and social impact. So thank you again for being with us.
Thank you, Martina. Thank you.
Now it's my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Ms. Aja Assad Ahmed, a young entrepreneur from the Kurdistan region of Iraq. Growing up in Soleimani, she witnessed the environmental impact of untreated agricultural waste and turned this challenge into innovation. Through her research in soil science, she developed sustainable solutions by transforming poultry waste into organic fertilizers, now producing her family-run zero-waste facility. Please join me in welcoming Haja, founder of Haja Factory. The floor is yours.
So much, Ms. Martina. I am sorry about my voice. I have a little bit cough. Thank you. Now I am sharing my PowerPoint.
We can see your presentation.
I think not full screen.
Can you put it in the full screen?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
now,
perfect. Now it's perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Firstly, I would like to appreciate the valuable opportunity and being participated in Women Shaping the Future of Industry in that valuable event. Thank you so much. Briefly, I would like to introduce myself. I am Haja Hassan Ahmed from Suleimania, Kurdistan region, Iraq. I have master's degree in soil science and plant nutrition. Also founded Haja Factory for production biochar. Haja factory established in 2023, and we received a registration and certification from Chambers of Commerce and Industry. Then I'm going to explain the agenda. First one, main issue, poultry, manure waste, the solution, mission statement, and we have advantages of our products, our focuses, and our initiatives. Firstly, I would like to explain main issue. In the Middle East, especially in Kurdistan region, Iraq, rapidly grows poultry production makes to more manure waste to the environment. When poultry manure not properly managed, it leads to several serious consequences, such as soil contamination. Adding manure waste into soil increases level of heavy metals such as Ag, Pb, and the lack of phosphorus. We have also environmental pollution in adding manure waste in the soil, increase high level of carbon dioxide emission to the atmosphere because this waste contaminated by many heavy metals such as ammonia and ammonium. Separate of these years, this manure waste contaminated by many harmful viruses and bacteria because this waste contain many vaccines and antibiotics when they grow it. We have the solution in the factory by two innovative methods addressing this issue. Transformation poultry manure waste to organic fertilizer includes two strong methods such as hydrothermal carbonization. This method used for producing liquid biochar contain amount of manure waste, water, oxygen, moderate temperature and time. Also, we have pyrolysis method. This method used for solid vermicast contain high level of pyrolyzation that contain level of temperature, higher temperatures than 600 Celsius. We have a time and absence of oxygen. By to this innovative method, we can manage this manure waste and then transforming to break through the organic fertilizers. Mission statement of the factory: we provide two different organic fertilizer specific products such as liquid biochar and solid vermicast. These products both include essential nutrients such as nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium with micronutrients. Also, liquid biochar and vermicast are free of chemical preservation because our workers and processes in factory for producing two type of fertilizers are zero waste facility. Also, we have many advantages of our products for liquid biochar and vermicast in the same time. Improvement of soil structure. Adding organic fertilizer increase organic matter and enhance aggregation with increasing soil quality. We have also increased nutrient availability in soil. Adding organic fertilizer increase essential nutrient, improves the nutrient cycle in the soil, enhance microbial activity. Adding organic fertilizer stimulates beneficial microbial activities population in soil and make more activity microbes such as fungi and bacteria. Increase nutrient uptake by plants. Adding organic fertilizer reduce leaching nutrients that help to the plants access more nutrients when needed. Improve fruit development. Adding organic fertilizer help to the root system and increase the healthy root system for plants during the growing. Promote long-term crop production. It means that organic fertilizer contain all macro and micronutrients. That means these nutrients, when added into the soil, make the plants more grow and more cropping longer than the original period, such as tomatoes like 2 months growing and crop production. This product, especially liquid biochar, makes this product longer than this period, for 3 months, like 3.5. Stress resistance, adding organic fertilizer resist and improve it to environment stress, such as drought and disease, and protected the plants against diseases, such as by many diseases for plants. The factory focuses sustainability and circularity. Our factory contributes to circular economy. Our products, we are provide cheap price selling and take back plastic gallons from customers, then fill out it again. These points make it this factory more sustainable against environment and sustainability of factory with the wholesalers and retailers. Also, we have scalability. The annual production capacity increases via market demand and partnerships. Furthermore, standard production for liquid biochar 200,000 liters yearly, and for solid vermicast we have 75 tons. We can increase these numbers by getting annually and depend to the seasonal and climate and collaboration with new partnerships with other stakeholders and more demand by community, especially in agriculture sector in market. Our initiatives, we have a strong collaboration with locally, especially my work is recognized by Kurdish Ministry of Agriculture. Also, we started a collaboration with international organizations in 2024. I have attended with many advanced programs with them internationally. We visited in Bari as a study tour. Then inside in Iraq also a collaboration with international organizations with Iraqi Federation Industry. I have attended many programs such as agribusiness value chain and supply chain programs. We have a message for women in the around world. Be a creative woman in your field. Make your sustainable in your hard work. Also, we have a short video that shows all my workers and how we are producing these products. Thank you for your attention. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Haja, for your sharing such a powerful and concrete example.
The idea of the project comes from my research test. As is known, our researchers should have response the research question and selecting the main issue. After that, addressing this issue. My research question was why directly applying of poultry manure waste without management cause so many problems like soil contamination and releases more diseases like virus and bacteria with releasing more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and greenhouse gas emission. The main issue we responded was direct application poultry manure caused so many problems because poultry manure waste contain high level of ammonia and ammonium, which releases more bacteria and viruses that affected to the groundwater pollution and soil contamination with burning our plants. Addressing this issue was using a technique and a method by new technical innovation called hydrothermal carbonization. and pyrolyzation. By this techniques, we transform it and converted this waste to natural organic fertilizer that benefit for soil and plants, like increase the availability of macronutrient and micronutrients, heals the plant growth, uptake nutrients like phosphorus, potassium by plants, and reduce retention of water into the soil. That's important for economically water scarcity. These products of us solves this problem of farmers for sustainable agriculture, because important for us agricultural sustainability important for us, and the main factor for sustainability is organic farming, and organic farming depend on organic fertilizers used by farmers for producing and growing crop production.
Thank you, Hajar, for sharing how research and innovation can turn environmental challenges into sustainable solutions with a real and tangible impact on the farming community. Now it's my pleasure and turn to introduce our next speaker, Ms. Maria Louise Bishara, an international recognized Egyptian fashion designer and entrepreneur, known for her leadership in building a family-rooted business and her contribution to the development of the textile and fashion industry across Egypt and beyond. Please, Maria Louise, the floor is yours.
Hello, hi, how are you?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, welcome.
I hope you're well and everything is perfect today for everybody.
Thank you so much.
Let me introduce to you Anne-Marie, my daughter. She is now becoming our art director, and we're a lovely team. She's the third generation of our group, and I will brief you very fast about who we are, what we're doing.
Can you see the screen, right?
Yes.
Is the screen for everybody? Okay. We are called the Bishara Textiles and Fashion Group. I am the second generation. My family started in 1961 the business of textiles. My father started as a printer, so he had the first printing house in Cairo for hand printing, like what you see in Como. The old printing houses doing the scarves, they used to do all the printing manually on long tables to print lovely fabrics for ladies' wear and so on, and shirts for men's wear. My mother joined his work in 1960, let's say 69 or 70. That's the timeline that you see, so 61, and then they were in the business of printing, and in 1980, they were proposed to start a new business of fashion, of ladies and menswear fashion. So the menswear started by a new factory in the new industrial cities that were outside of Cairo. His Excellency President Sadat created two big industrial cities in the 80s. It's called 10th of Ramadan City and 6th of October City. And the government was giving very good subsidies for all businessmen who started to do businesses. They gave them 10%, 10 years out of taxes and so on. So he started, Mr. Bishara, my father, Louis Bishara, made a very prominent textile factory. So the design started from textiles. You do the fabric, you do the printing, you do the dyeing and the finishing, and then they started by doing menswear, shirts and bottoms and trousers. And in that time, Egypt was still everybody was buying from small shops. There were no brands. So BTM, that is the abbreviation of Bishara Textile Manufacturing, was the first fashion brand that was launched in Egypt in the 1980s. with a proper branding, with proper marketing tools, and so on. And the garments were distributed in all the stores of Egypt. We didn't have yet our own stores. At that time, I studied art in Egypt, and then traveled to France. I learned fashion designing and pattern making in Esmod Gare Lavigne, one of the very famous fashion schools in France. And during that time, I had many trainings. I was helping at Cacharel. I was studying or doing internship while I was studying at Dana Côte d'Azur. They were working for Balmain. So I assisted at some collections like Ivoire de Balmain. I had a lot of trainings in Germany, in Bogner, and so on. And in 1989, I graduated and created my first collection. And by that time, they have prepared a ladies' wear factory for the ladies' wear garments. We had only menswear. So in 89, I started the ladies' wear in the group. And I launched the brand that is Marie Louis, that is the ladies' wear prêt-à-porter brand. And it was the first store in Egypt to carry both a menswear brand called BTM and a ladies' wear brand called Marie Louis. There were no stores for designers by that time. That was the start of fashion stores and fashion flagship stores. So I continued with the family, mother and father and the daughter, doing this kind of business. First, we had 27 stores in Egypt, and then we grew. My mother started a couple of stores in Germany, in Baden-Baden and in Offenburg. And let's say the sisters joined. We are a family of 3 daughters. I'm the eldest, Nelly, the middle one, and Jessie, the younger one. So Nelly is a mechanical engineer who started to direct the factory of weaving, and then Jessie started her own brand for children wear. It was called B. And I created more brands like the Golfwear line, the Marie Bichara line, and many brands. Anyways, I was invited in 2008 to show the collection at the Paris Fashion Week. So it was a challenge for me. And when I was invited, they told me, look, Marie, we do not invite the brand, we invite the designer. So you have to create a new brand called Marie Bichara, not Marie Louis. So I created this new line, and there you see, you can follow even those collections. If you like to write Marie Bichara Fashion Week in Paris, you'll have a look at what we propose. The lovely thing about our family is that we create from the fabric. So we weave our own linen, our own wool, the tweeds. We weave our fabrics from sustainable yarns. In Prato, in Italy, they recycle all the wool pullovers and fabrics to do new yarns that are called the tweed yarns that we use to do some of our collections, as you see. Anna wanted to show you this. Well, this is another brand that we do. This is called the Corporate Fashion. It's I currently design for our Egyptian army, and I design for Egypt Air the uniforms. She wanted to show you another aspect of the work. And those are some of the press that we appeared in. And we have created the EFDC. It's called the Egyptian Fashion and Design Council. It's the first Egyptian fashion council in Egypt, and it groups all the young Egyptian designers. And we did a lovely thing in COP27 about sustainability, fashion and sustainability. So young designer creating collections out of waste fabrics, out of how would I say, even the eggshells, they transformed the eggshells into creations. So it was a lovely intervention in COP27 with 600 square meters and maybe 20 or 30 young Egyptian designers. That's part of what we do. Also, I worked a lot on a very important initiative for our country. It's called the Egyptian Cotton and Rural Women Empowerment Initiative with the National Council of Women, where I am a board member. We have many women that are working in agriculture. Let's say that 60% of the Egyptian agriculture is made by Egyptian women in the rural areas and in the farming areas. Cotton being one of our main and essential crops that we grow in Egypt, and it's very special. We helped train our women on growing sustainable cotton and collecting it in the best practices with UNIDO, with the National Council of Women, with the Egyptian Cotton Association, with many members, Italian industrials in Egypt, in Burj Al Arab, Albini, and so on. That's part of my work, along the recycling of agricultural waste, that we help rural women in the farming areas in the south of Egypt to recycle the waste of agriculture and to create compost, organic compost, that will help them transform the land to organic lands to have organic cotton. That's one part. From the other aspect, of course, I work on the Egyptian heritage with many women in the south in an area called Chandawil. We developed handmade crafts, hand embroidery, that's called the telli. From you can see it on the presentation on the left down. The telli is a hand embroidery on Egyptian cotton tulle, and we, with the National Council of Women, we launched the brand Egyptian telli that has been associated to the WIPO in Geneva. And now the Egyptian women, they have their own telli brand. It's internationally accredited. I will let my daughter Anne-Marie talk about the Bishara Foundation. It's our family foundation, so I'll give her the floor.
So we have a foundation called the Bishara Foundation. This is launched in Asmarat, which is an underdeveloped area in the center of Cairo, where we took a factory there. I don't know if you want to explain a bit more.
No,
So we took a factory there, and we are training the women on how to sew. So it's been 2 years now. They are undergoing training on how to sew and are now going to be employed into another company. And they now learn how to, they can produce for like brands like De Facto, El Siwakiki, and so on, after going through a substantial training. We also have in the factory in 10th of Ramadan, the Amal Bishara Foundation school. This is a school that already graduated around 3,000 to 4,000 now students, training them. So in the first year, they learn how to make a shirt. Second year, they learn how to make a trouser. And the third year, or vice versa. And then the third year, they learn how to make a full jacket, and they graduate knowing how to sew a complete full jacket. Once they graduate, they don't only become regular technicians, but they become technicians that are basically wanted everywhere in Egypt and in all of the factories in Egypt because of their expertise. Also, throughout the previous time, we've been doing public-private training partnerships. So Madame Marie acquired several schools, several training technology center and so on.
So, well, about the technology center, we are training the youth on all that is around fashion and textiles. So they start learning how to weave, how to knit a polo shirt. So there are knitting machines that they learn on with a program with the Ministry of Industry. They learn flat knitting for the pullovers. They learn embroidery, hand embroidery, and on the big machine embroidery. They learn pattern making, and then there is a special floor where they learn all the fading arts and crafts of Egypt, like the inlaid, the glass.
Glass inlays, basically, where they make
the colored stained glass that you find in the mosques, in the churches. So they are learning. We have a big program with University of Art, Applied Art in Egypt. So they have a current system that they are working on, and they are learning jewelry making. So it's an artistic technology and industrial technology center that we are leading currently. Now about empowering women. So we have our own kindergarten. So you see the first picture, my late father, welcoming the babies. So we have, they are preschool. So the children, they come from the age of 3 months till 3 years. And then if they are older than 3 years, so from 3 to 6, they go. We have a special bus for the children above 3 years. They go to other nurseries outside the factory with our own bus, and they come at 3 o'clock. So for the mothers, they leave usually early, 3:30, not at 4 like everybody with their babies. So we really empower women in our environment, in our system. We have many, let's say, when the Ministry of Health has a very good program for breast cancer detection, they come, they do their breast cancer detection, they do all the provided services by Ministry of Health are given to our women in-house as much as possible. Here is one of our teams. That's the team in Asmarat in the small factory where we train the women in the rural area. Those are the women that have been receiving the accreditation and the awards for being very clever in their learning and so on.
I can go back to this because we didn't really go through this. This is Madame Marie. I accidentally skipped the slide. So just to tell you briefly, she is the former president of the Ready-Made Export Garment Council, and also the board member of the Cotton Spinning and Weaving Holding Company.
No, that was a past one. Now I'm in the Cotton Association and also
the French
Business Council.
That's okay. And she has also the Egyptian Foundation. Okay. But yeah, anyways, this is the brand in a nutshell.
Let me introduce Anne-Marie for you. Anne-Marie Kyrolos is the second generation. She is leading now the art and the design in the group. She has her own brand. It's called T Official. You can go online and have a look. T is the first Egyptian queen, Tiyi, and she has started now very heavily to work with Switzerland and Germany. She provided the uniforms for the Frankfurt airport, and she's working on developing as well some collections for many other Italian and Swiss brands. So Anna is in charge of all the exports that are done in our company. And thank you very much for your time. It was a pleasure to meet you all women and listen to the successful stories before we joined. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you both, Maria Louise and Anne-Marie, for your inspiring intervention and for sharing your remarkable work in the fashion industry. Actually, your journey clearly shows how fashion is much more than creativity. It's a power of business tool and a true business card that express identity, culture, and vision on the international stage. So thank you again for your presentation. Now it's time to introduce our next speaker, Dr. Dimfra Baker Hedu, Head of Fashion Design and Textile Department, Koforidua Technical University in Ghana. Her work underlined the importance of bridging academia and industry, demonstrating how combining university education with business practices in fashion can empower and shape the next generation of designers and entrepreneurs. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much for this honor. Yes, as she said, my name is Dimfra Baker Hedu. As you rightly said, Head of Department Fashion Design and Textile / Graphics in Koforidua Technical University. So when it comes to, okay, let me say good morning, good afternoon once again to everyone. I am honored to share my journey as a woman entrepreneur in the textiles and fashion value chain, and to speak on what it means to weave opportunity every thread of our industry. I work with women in 3 interconnected sectors: apparel, millinery and accessories, and textiles recycling. These are not separate industries. They are loops in circular economy that women are currently leading. I'll share real experience, best practices, and model that connects academia, our communities, and our nation. Women in Value Chain Development, that's a case study of textiles and fashion industry in Ghana and Africa. The concept of value chain in textiles refers to the process through which raw materials transformed into finished products through several stages in the textiles industry. These include stages like yarn production, fabric creation, printing, embroidery, and the final product or the final apparel. Each stage adds economic value, which also preserving our cultural identity. In Ghana's textile sector, the chain runs from raw fibers, spinning, weaving, printing, embroidery, sewing, retail. At every stage value is added. Women play a critical yet often invisible role in local products. That is yarn, woven fabrics, printed clothes, kente, which is our local fabric, as you can see on the screen right now, which at the end of the day, we get fugu or smokes. And then accessories are also made from these beautiful kente fabric. So each product carries the fingerprints of our women and then their creativity. Our local materials, that is, we get it from the yarn and then the natural fiber source from Ghanaian producers. Our raw materials also carry a very good weight and then quality. The traditional craftsmanship, that is the weaving and the embroidery and then the spinning techniques, pass through generations. These cannot be copied by a factory. When you go to our local industry, most women do a lot of these beautiful products. And then when it comes to market value, our cultural authenticity creates competitive advantage in global markets, and buyers pay a premium for real heritage. For example, our kente that we get in Ghana here is getting from hand woven skills and then cotton fabric from the Ashanti Kingdom. We also have some from the Volta region of Ghana. And then each pattern contains or carries cultural meaning. When we talk about cultural heritage as economic asset, our local textile industry is deeply rooted in culture and tradition. We use local materials such as cotton, yarn, and natural fibers sourced from Ghanaian producers. Traditional skills like weaving, embroidery, as I've mentioned earlier, and printing have been passed down through generations. These cultural elements give our products a very good value, which increases their value in both local and then global markets, as mentioned. Now, the challenge is that connecting our artisan women to market that value of what they produce, this is where the entrepreneurship comes in. When it comes to Koforidua Technical University, we train more of our youth to help them to gain access into the fashion industry and also to make business for themselves in order not to just stay redundant and then unemployed. So we try to create business for them. When it comes to first year, our programs run for 4 years. We have BTech, that is Bachelor of Technology in Fashion. And then we also have Higher National HND, Higher National Diploma, which is HND. Then we have Certificate in Fashion. We also have Diploma in the university, that they also do the same program. So these programs, the BTech, we have 4 years. The HND is 3 years. And then the school diploma is also 2 years. Now, when you come to the diploma, we train the students for the first year to have an idea about setting up their own businesses and also create business for themselves. So if you look on the screen right now, this is one of our students who has just finished her product and then exhibiting herself in a fashion show. Before we come to this, in the first year, we train the students of how to develop pattern. And then they also come up with how to make hair accessories, that is millinery and accessories, to complement what they sew. And then at the end of the day, they come up with an exhibition to show up the world that they have now been able to come up to fit actually into the industry. If you look on the screen right now, this is one of our students standing behind her products in the exhibition room, waiting for the external assessors to give her marks to be able to graduate. Then if you look at this one, this is the training processes in the classroom, trying to empower the students and then the general community so that they will be able to create businesses for themselves. And then if you come into the community, some of them already have the businesses already. So we help them to develop and then increase the skills that they already have so that they can fit and then upgrade into their businesses. So if you look at this, this is still the training impact that we are giving to the students. If you look at the pictures out there, that is me training the students with millinery and accessories. We create hats, we create accessories, we create sandals, we create bags and all that. And then when we do this, we don't leave the men out. We try to encourage them because as much as the women are trying to fit into the society, we equally have some of the men who doesn't even know where to go. So for such people, when they find themselves in the fashion industry, we try to motivate them so that they will be able to do things for themselves. So through this, you can see that the job created in the fashion ecosystem, we have this the sketch artist, that is the visual communication by translating the concepts that the students have into technical drawing for growing demand in the industry. Now, when it comes to the fashion designers, they also create professional development original collections, because at the end of the day, they go out there, exhibit in a big a fashion exhibition, and then from there they move on to the fashion show to show the world of how creative they are. And then we also have IT experts, which help these students to send out their ideas online so that they will be able to market the products that they have come up with. Now, if you look at the screen right now, these are some of the apparel made by our students. It's not only by formal dresses, but then they also make wedding gowns and all that. And then when we come to the policy makers, I will plead that this education sector, it should be improved, which is already in existence. You know, we have vocational skills already into the school curricula, but then I would be glad if these skills, alongside science and maths as core economics, will be intensified. And then informal apprentices through bridge programs, they have to get millions of skills to workers behind the scenes so that they will be able to help them. Then they can also be given partnership through NGOs for funding, and then resource government cannot carry, because this resource governments cannot carry the full cost alone. So if NGOs come in to support these students to be able to set up of their own businesses after they have really gotten those skills from school. And then when we talk about the private sectors, the returns are both social and then financial. So they create structured apprenticeship opportunities within businesses. And then they also support online platforms for African fashion, connect local talents to global markets. They also provide mentorship and then experience professional guidance, emerging one's multiple impacts exceptionally. So these are still some of the final products created by our students, and then they were on the red carpet for the fashion show. Now, at the end of the day, when they are done with the classroom work, and then they go on the exhibition room, and then the fashion show, there are external assessors who come in there to mark what they have produced out of their final skills, and then marks are awarded and certificates are given, and then finally they are being graduated by the university, and then school certificates are also issued for our students. So if you look on the screen right now, we have the textiles some. These are not all. We have some of our textile departments showing their skills as how they produce their own fabrics. So these are the process that they go through. Then if you look at the top one in the middle, that is beauty culture class. So what we do here is that if you have been able to produce your own fabric, you have been able to cut and sew, then you should be able to dress me up. So we have beauty culture class as well, where we train both men and women of how to present themselves in the public. And then after that, we also come to the graphics, where they also deal with drawings with their hands to create ideas to show the world that truly this is what we can also do. Now, I don't know whether you can see behind me, I have most of the work from our students in my office here right now. Yeah. So in Ghana, in Africa, and around the world, we are saying that women are the backbone of the textile and fashion value chain. They harvest the cotton and then spin the yarn, weave the kente, sew the garments, sell at the market, and then the final thing is they style the ceremonies as well. And yet, they remain under-resourced, under-recognized, and in the boardroom and policy chambers where decisions about industries are made, they are not being heard. So we say that when women are equipped with vocational skills, they don't just survive, they thrive, creating wealth for themselves, their families, and community and the nation at large. If you look at my screen right now, this is me with my faculty dean, and then the team for UNIDO who visited us to try to give us a partnership. So on this note, I want to say a big thank you to UNIDO ITPO Italy for this platform and for creating space for women's voice at the highest international level of the fashion industry or the industry dialogue. So I also want to thank you for the organizers of the International Day of Women in Industry for the vision behind this day. I say thank you to my fellow panelists for the richness and the diversity of this conversation. And most of all, thank you to every woman who wakes up each morning, pick up a needle, a loom, a pattern, or a business plan, and chooses to build something for herself or for the family, for her children, as the earlier presenter just mentioned, for her community and the nation at large.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you, Professor, for your insightful intervention and for highlighting the fundamental role that university play in connecting education, research, and industry to prepare the next generation of professionals, preserving the cultural heritage as economic asset. Thank you again for your intervention and your speech. Now it's my pleasure to introduce our final speaker of this panel, Ms. Erika Scussolin, Chief Marketing Officer of Bioxygen from Italy, a young innovator who has participated in a program supported by UNIDO ITPO Italy, where she contributed to advancing innovation and empowering young women. Please join me in welcome Erika.
Thank you, Martina. Good morning, everyone. And thank you for inviting me today. I'm very grateful to be here and very honored to be speaking between all of these inspiring stories and inspiring women. My name is Erika Scussolin and I am the marketing coordinator at Bioxygen, a startup project that aims to develop indoor air purifiers that can reduce CO2 concentration and produce oxygen thanks to the photosynthesis of microalgae. I have a presentation that I would like to share. Please tell me if you can see it.
Yeah, we can see.
Okay, thank you very much. I have, maybe I put it full screen.
Yes, we see it's a full screen. We can see it perfectly. Thank you,
Okay.
Erika.
Okay. I have been working on this project over the past 3 years together with Silvia De Cleva, our CEO, who has a bachelor's degree in biological sciences and a master's degree in data science, and Daniela Bollis, our CTO, who has a bachelor's degree in biotechnology and a master's degree in neuroscience. The project received a significant boost from the Yes call for innovative solutions promoted by UNIDO ITPO Italy and the region Friuli Venezia Giulia, the region where I live and I studied. It was a program designed to support young innovators in developing entrepreneurial ideas that addressed digital and green transformation challenges. Initially, Silvia and I joined the Yes program with two separate projects, one focused on using microalgae for energy production and the other on using microalgae for CO2 capture in urban environments. And then we realized that working together, combining our ideas could create a stronger impact. So we started working together on a single project. That's it, an indoor air purification system called Oxy, which uses the photosynthesis of microalgae to capture CO2 while producing oxygen. It also includes additional filtration technologies to address different types and capture different types of pollutants. Reducing CO2 levels can improve concentration, productivity, mood, and overall well-being, especially for people who spend a lot of time indoors. We have recently completed the prototype study phase, and we are currently testing the product. A key point in our journey has been the support received from UNIDO and its international network. The acceleration program linked to the Yes call helped us move from an early stage idea to a more structured project, especially in terms of business model and financial sustainability. This is a photo that shows all the young innovators who took part in this program, together with representatives of UNIDO and also the University of Trieste in Italy. Thanks to UNIDO, we participated in the World Entrepreneurs Investment Forum in Manama, Bahrain, where we presented our project to an international audience and received initial feedback on an interest in bio-oxygen and our idea. Later, we joined GITEX Global and Expert Northstar in Dubai, one of the largest platforms connecting and events connecting startups and investors. This was probably one of the most impactful experiences so far. For me, but for us also, I think I can tell that it was the first time we were directly exposed to a global network of investors, startups, and of course, innovation ecosystems. In addition to be exhibiting in a dedicated stand, a dedicated booth, at the GITEX Global for that was dedicated to the Yes call selected startups. We had several one-to-one meetings, and you can see the room on the right side of the presentation, the second picture, with investors from the globe, from Europe, the United States, Asia, and also the Middle East, of course. This helped us understand how our project could be positioned in a local or national level. UNIDO gave us the opportunity also to experience innovation ecosystems and visit them. One example is our visit to the Sustainable City in Dubai, a fully integrated community, sustainable community designed to combine environmental, economic, but also social sustainability for the well-being, long-term well-being of residents and respect of nature. Everything is reused in this city. We then participated in further initiatives, including GITEX Europe in Berlin, Germany, and additional acceleration activities and programs in Italy, where we worked more in depth on technical development of the product, the prototype, and the business model. Looking back, I would say that what helped us, what made the difference, was having access to structured support, including institutional networks, and being exposed to international ecosystems. I believe these are multiplying factors for any company, not only for startups. I also see that in my daily work. Alongside Bioxygen, I also work full-time in the field of business internationalization at Sprint Friuli Venezia Giulia, the regional desk that supports companies from Friuli Venezia Giulia region to grow on international markets. We help companies strengthen and assess the presence in international markets and strengthen their presence abroad by increasing their awareness of available support tools and also getting them in contact, connecting them with institutional networks. I mention this because my work experience shaped the way I look at industry and allows me to work with both institutions and private sector. We meet many Italian companies with strong technical expertise and great potential. However, I can tell, I see that access to opportunities also depends on connections. Being open to external environments is very important, and it means not only working with companies, but also building relationships with institutions, innovation ecosystems, and international networks. This is something that we experienced with Bioxygen as well. But now, if I try to connect my experience in Bioxygen with the theme of today's discussion, there is one point that I find relevant. Our team today is composed of women, but this was not a predefined objective. It was simply the result of people with complementary ideas and passion meeting in the same time in the right context. I believe this shows that when the access to opportunities is open and inclusive, participation follows from men and women. So my message is that it's not only about increasing the number of women in industry, but also about making sure that more women access the environments where ideas are created and developed, because the future of industry depends on innovation. In this direction, I find very interesting, for example, initiatives such as hackathons for women or with strong female participation, but also mentorship programs and access to investor networks. These initiatives create environments where women grow innovation and also connections. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Erika, for your inspiring speech and for closing this powerful panel with such, a clarity. Your journey as young innovator and CMO of Bioxygen is a powerful example of how vision, courage, and entrepreneurship can turn into ideas, into real concrete and tangible industrial impact. So now we conclude this first panel, which has been rich in a powerful contribution for women representing 5 different countries. Despite their diverse backgrounds and experiences, they have all demonstrated the courage to engage in business and stand as leaders and witnesses in building a more sustainable and inclusive society. As we jump to the second panel, we decided to bring in the institutional perspective, which is essential to bridge enterprises, universities, and society at large, playing a key role in coordination, guidance, and representation in fostering inclusive industrial ecosystem. And now it's my great pleasure to welcome our first speaker of the second panel, coming from Lebanon and representing the Ministry of Industry. Dr. Chantal Akl brings an extensive experience as Director General with a distinguished career spanning in the industrial policy, investment promotion, and private sector development, as well as a strong engagement in the international cooperation and institutional reform. Please join me in welcoming Chantal to take the floor.
Thank you. I will share my presentation. Good. Can I begin?
Not yet.
Okay, I'm sorry. Share.
Now we can see your screen, but not yet the PowerPoint presentation. Okay, there we go. Yes, perfect.
Okay, good morning. Thank you for this important platform. Today, I'm honored to represent the Ministry of Industry in Lebanon on a topic that it's not only about inclusion, but about transformation. When we speak about women in industry, we are not discussing a marginal issue. We are talking about unlocking a major driver of economic resilience, innovation, and recovery, especially in a country like Lebanon. Our industry are rebuilding under pressure, and women are already contributing across value chains, from agro-food production to engineering and entrepreneurship. The question is not longer whether women can lead industrial transformation. The question is, how do we scale their impact? Why this matters now? Lebanon today has exceptional female talent, women who are creative, resilient, and technically capable. Yet, despite this, the path from idea to industrial scale remains more difficult for women. They face structural barriers, limited access to finance, weaker networks, fewer leadership opportunities, and gaps in technology access. And in time of crisis, these inequalities deepen. Women and youth are often the first to be affected, but also the most capable of driving recovery if empowered. So this is not only a matter of fairness, it is about economic logic. When we support women in industry, we strengthen firms, diversify innovation, and build more resilient value chains. And this is some numbers from the World Bank in 2022, we have 32% female unemployment and 22% female labor force participation. Donc, we are not starting from zero, we are starting from underused potential. One key action, a national platform. Our action is clear and practical. To create a national gender-responsive industrial innovation support platform. This platform is not another isolated initiative. It is a coordination mechanism that brings together ministries, financial institutions, universities, incubators, and industry actors. Its purpose is to move from fragmented efforts to a structured pipeline, supporting women not only at the idea stage, but all the way to scalable investment-ready business. We want to target women across roles, founders, engineers, managers, and innovators, and ensure they are supported systematically, not occasionally. Why this action fits Lebanon? This approach works because it builds on Lebanon's strength. In agro-food, we already have strong women-led SMEs and cooperatives, but they need support in scaling, branding, and accessing markets. In clean energy, especially solar, the crisis has created a dynamic market where women can play key technical and entrepreneurial roles. And in circular economy, we see growing opportunities in recycling, resource efficiency, and sustainability production. So, as we said before, we are not starting from zero. We are building on sectors where there is already demand, impact, and space for women's leadership. The first pillar is finance, because without capital, ideas cannot grow. We aim to create dedicated financial mechanisms for women-led industrial projects, including blended finance, guarantee schemes, and investor matchmaking. This also means working closely with banks to reduce perceived risk and encourage lending to women-led SMEs. Our objective is simple: to ensure that a strong business idea led by a woman does not fail because of lack of access to funding. The second pillar is access to technology and innovation. Women entrepreneurs and engineers must be able to access labs, prototyping facilities, and advanced tools. We also need stronger links between industry and universities, so that research translates into real industrial applications. This is particularly critical in green and digital technologies, where Lebanon has strong academic potential but needs better industrial integration. The third pillar is skills. We need targeted training programs for women across all industrial roles, from technicians to plant managers and founders. But beyond training, mentorship is key. Women need role models and also allies. This is where the he for she concept becomes essential. Engaging men as partners is enabling women's leadership. Finally, we must start early by strengthening women's participation in STEM education and aligning training with market needs. The fourth pillar is market access. Even the best products cannot succeed without access to markets. We aim to support certification, export readiness, and integration into clusters and value chains. This includes stronger engagement with chambers of commerce and industry association, ensuring women-led business are visible, competitive, and scalable. Because true inclusion means not just participation, but growth. Our collaboration with UNIDO ITPO Italy. A concrete example of this approach is the twinning project with UNIDO ITPO Italy. Through this collaboration, we are enabling knowledge exchange, partnerships, and international exposure for Lebanese women entrepreneurs, especially in agro-food and innovation sectors. This is exactly the type of initiative that the national platform would scale, connecting women to finance, standards, training, and global markets. It shows that when partnerships are well designed, they can unlock real opportunities. Finally, let me emphasize one key message. It takes two to tango. Empowering women in industry is not a woman-only issue. It requires institutions, policies, leadership that actively include men as allies. The he-for-she approach is about shared responsibility, ensuring that inclusion is embedded in how we design systems, not just in how we speak about them. Let me conclude with a simple message. When women are better connected to finance, technology, skills, and markets, industry does not only become fairer, it becomes stronger. Lebanon has the talent. What we need now is structure, coordination, and commitment. Let us build an ecosystem where women in Lebanon are not only participants in industry, but shapers of its future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chantal, for this truly inspiring intervention and for the clarity of your vision as a representative of the Ministry of Industry. Your message powerfully captured the essence of this discussion and resonated deeply with all of us. A statement that, reflects not only inclusion, but also the future of industrial development itself. So thank you again for your speech. Now it's time to welcome and introduce our next speaker from Iraq, Dr. Maitam Adam Zubaidi, Deputy Chairman of the Competition and Antitrust Council at the Prime Minister's Office. He's a senior government executive with over 24 years of experience in industrial policy formulation, competition affairs, industrial organization, and intellectual property governance, with extensive experience in innovation support, industrial competitiveness, market regulation, environmental strategy, and national development initiatives. Please, Dr. Maitam, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Martina. Is my sound is good?
Yes, perfect. We can hear you perfectly.
Thank you. According for the limitation of time, I will make it as simple as a speech and I hope that will be captured some facts from Iraq here. Ladies and gentlemen, representatives of UNIDO, good morning. It is a great honor to join you today on the occasion of the International Day of Women in Industry, and a day that reminds us that the future of industry cannot be truly innovative, resilient, or sustainable unless women are fully empowered to shape it. As the Deputy Chairman of the Competition and Antitrust of Iraq, and through my previous work in environmental policy, sustainable development, innovation, and intellectual property, I have witnessed firsthand that empowering women in industry is not a simple social objective. It is an economic necessity and a strategic requirement for sustainable national development. Ladies and gentlemen, recent industrial statistics from Iraq for 2023 present both a challenge and an opportunity. Women represent only 0.6% of the workforce in small industrial enterprises, 3.4% in medium-sized enterprises, and approximately 13% in large industrial companies. These figures are highly revealing. They suggest that women are more represented in large enterprises, not only because such companies offer stronger labor protection, better workplace conditions, and more comprehensive social security system, but also because larger firms are usually more responsive to government policies and national commitments related to women's empowerment, particularly those embedded in Iraq's national development plans until 2028. In contrast, women's participation remains significantly lower in small enterprises, many of which operate with limited oversight and where a considerable share falls within the informal economy. This reflects a broader structural challenge that the space where entrepreneurship should be most accessible to women are often the very spaces where barriers remain highest. Women continue to face obstacles related to business registration, market entry, financing, and a high risks of business failure. However, despite of these challenges, Iraq women are already contributing meaningfully across the industrial sectors. Their strongest participation is found in food production, textiles and garment manufacturing, as well as pharmaceutical products and electronic devices assembly, demonstrating both their adaptability and their expanding technical capabilities across tradition and emerging industrial sectors. At the same time, the digital transformation of the global market, which accelerated dramatically after the COVID-19 pandemic, has reshaped how business is conducted. New business models based on digital commerce, remote production, and online marketing have opened unprecedented opportunities for women to work from home, launch enterprises, and access consumers beyond traditional market limitations. In Iraq and across the region, many women successfully entered protective sectors during and after the pandemic. Through home-based manufacturing of sanitizing products, protective materials, skincare goods, and other consumer essentials, proving that when barriers are reduced, women innovate rapidly and respond effectively to the market needs. Ladies and gentlemen, women's empowerment in industry must be also understood through the lens of sustainability and climate resilience. Iraq's National Strategy for Environmental Protection 2024 until 2030 recognize that the women are among those disproportionately affected by climate change and environmental subjects. The strategy called for a greater role of women in participation and decision-making. This makes women issues not only an economic priority, but also a climate adaptation strategy, enabling women to participate in green industries, circular economy models, sustainable agriculture, and environmentally responsible manufacturing, strengthens both economic inclusion and environmental resilience. In this context, I would also like to acknowledge the important role played by UNIDO and the UNIDO ITPO Italy in supporting Iraq's industrial transformation. Through strategic partnerships and targeted initiatives, UNIDO ITPO Italy has contributed to strengthening entrepreneurship ecosystems, promoting industrial innovation, facilitating technology transfer, and supporting Iraqi enterprises in agro-industry, startup incubation, and industrial modernization. These initiatives have helped Iraqi entrepreneurs, particularly youth and women, connected with global expertise to develop innovative business models and participate more actively in the industrial value chains. Their work demonstrates how international cooperation can create meaningfully local impact when aligned with national priorities. Distinguished participants, if we are serious about building inclusive industrial ecosystems, then we must move beyond discussing women participation as an inspiration and treating it as a measurable economic priority. We must build systems where women can innovate without barriers, compete fairly without discrimination, access markets without limitation, and lead industries without exceptions. Because women do not need a place in industry to be created for them, they need the barriers before them to be removed. And with a right push from us to them forward, women do not merely participate in industry, but they can transform it. Let us therefore commit to build industrial ecosystems where women are not only included in the future of industry, but where they help lead, design, and define that future. Finally, I hope a wonderful Women's Day in Industry for all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Maitam, for your insightful and comprehensive intervention. Your contribution offers a clear, data-driven perspective on the current realities and opportunities for advancing women's empowerment in industry in Iraq. It's particularly valuable that you have a strong institutional allies committed to turning this agenda into concrete action and impact. So thank you again for your speech and your intervention.
Thank you.
Now, it's my great pleasure to introduce our next speaker from Iraq, Dr. Abir Alazawi, head of the Policy Development Unit at the Prime Minister's Office. She brings an extensive experience in policy development, government reform, and institutional coordination with a strong focus on evidence-based policymaking and translating national priority into practical implementation tools. So please join me in welcoming her to the floor.
Yes, thank you, Martina, for this introduction. Good morning, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank UNIDO ETPO Italy for this kind invitation and for organizing this important event in this special day. I'm very pleased to be part of it. Actually, as you mentioned, the institution I'm working with, as an institution concerned with policy making, we place a strong emphasis on inclusion, mainly the meaningful participation of women. My presence today, as well as my role within my institution, reflect this commitment in practice. Also, today I would like to share my latest experience, which is a training program about entrepreneurship and training methodologies, which offered by UNIDO ETPO Italy. So again, thanks for them for this opportunity. Also, it was supported by my institution to participate in. So I think this is reflecting the importance we place on capacity building and knowledge exchange, especially on women. I believe in Iraq, women's empowerment is being addressed through several practical, programs and initiatives, also an institution. For example, we have at the Prime Minister, we have the Women Empowerment Directorate, which works on advancing policies and programs that support women. Also, in the field of education, at the Prime Minister's Office, we have an initiative for a government scholarship program. I can assure it is open and competitive, where women can participate, based on merits. So far, we have more than 500 women graduated from this program from US, UK, and Australian universities, which is a good number. Also, another important example is the Riyadh initiative. Also, it is launched by the Prime Minister's Office recently, which focuses on supporting entrepreneurship by providing training, loans, qualification, and opportunities for individuals, so including women, to develop their projects. So far, we have more than 4,000 women benefit from this program, which is I'm proud of this, number. It's a big number, and the program is very, baby steps. So I believe these efforts reflect a broader approach toward enabling women's participation in economic and industrial activities. In response to the main question of this session, One key action that supports inclusive industrial ecosystem is the continuous integration between policy making and realities. Actually, in practice, this is already being strengthened through engagement with entrepreneurs, support program, and exposure to the real market needs. From my experience, including my participation in the UNIDO program, I believe this kind of practical exposure plays a key role in shaping more effective and responsive policies. As a conclusion, linking policy development with the real-world experience and across sector collaboration is essential for building inclusive and sustainable industrial ecosystem. And I would like to end with this. I think, or I strongly believe that when women are empowered, economies grow and societies thrive and institutions become stronger. So keep moving, ladies. The world needs your creativity. Thank you, everyone. And thank you for UNIDO for all these, initiatives they continues to do. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Abir, for your insightful intervention and for sharing both concrete example and a clear vision of how policy can effectively support women's empowerment in Iraq. Your contribution highlights the importance of connecting institutional action with real-world implementation and capacity building. It's precisely this link between policy and practice that makes your input so valuable to this discussion. So thank you again for your speech and your intervention today. Now it's my great pleasure to introduce the last speaker of the this powerful second panel, Dr. Kwesi Ofori-Enji, Deputy Director of the Strategic Unit at the Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry in Ghana. He brings an extensive experience in trade policy, agribusiness development, industrial strategy with a strong focus on value chain development, private sector support and national competitiveness, as well as institutional coordination and reform. Please, Dr. Kwesi, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. The representative from UNIDO and ITPU, participants from across the globe, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're coming from. I bring you warm greetings from Ghana, a country that is proud to be building one of West Africa's most dynamic industrial sectors, and one where women are not waiting to be invited to the table, but they are leading it. I want to thank UNIDO for creating this platform to discuss the subject under discussion. I lead the Strategic Manufacturing Directorate at Ghana's Ministry of Trade and Agribusiness. My work covers the textiles, garment, automotive, pharmaceutical, beverages, and the construction sector. This sector has been the backbone of Ghana's industrial transformation. I want to share what inclusion looks like in practice. In Ghana, the textiles and garment sector is one of the government priority sectors for job creation and export. Here, women are not just participating, they are leading. Approximately 95% of the CEOs in this industry are women. And Ghana is the home to the largest garment manufacturing factory in West Africa, and it is owned by a woman. Over 70% of the workforce in the textiles and garments are women and young people contributing directly to export earnings and formal employment. This did not just happen by accident. It happened because women were treated as partners in building the sector and also not as beneficiaries of it. But for the lesson I want to leave with this panel is not only about what Ghana has achieved, it's about how, from experience, one principle stands above all the others. And that is inclusive industrial sector ecosystems do not happen by default. They are intentionally built. It means embedding gender-responsive measures directly into industrial policy designs, not as an add-on, not as a separate chapter, but as a founding criteria. Our textiles and garment manufacturing policy, which we are currently developing, was developed through extensive engagement with industry leaders, including women CEOs, a validation workshop designed to align the policy with the realities of women running factories, not just working in them. Beyond policy design, we work continuously with firms to resolve trade facilitation challenges at the port, coordinate with custom agencies, and ensure that women leading these enterprises are involved as active partners and not consulted after decisions are made. And we are now going further. We are embedding gender impact assessment and women-specific set aside directly into our flagship industrial programs, from the development of the textiles and garment, automotive, and pharmaceutical to assess SME concessional finance fund. Let me be direct about what we believe the next steps must be for Ghana and for all of us in this room. The challenge is no longer proving that women are capable industrial leaders. That case is made. Ghana's factory prove it every day. The challenge now is structural. It is ensuring that the architecture of our industrial ecosystems, finance access, procurement networks, innovation infrastructure, industrial park allocation is designed to see women, certify women, fund women, and connect women to market. We are working towards a dedicated women banking that will facilitate access within SME and export promotion architecture with gender disaggregated targets built into our results framework and reported annually to Cabinet. Under the AfCFTA, that's the African Continental Free Trade Area, the Women on Trade and Youth, the Protocol on Women and Youth in Trade creates a continental platform for exactly this work. The commitment made in that protocol must now be operationalized in domestic industrial policy, not left as aspirational tests. Ghana's experience shows that women lead factories, they lead industries. Women shape policy, they build ecosystems that work for everyone. And when government treats inclusion as infrastructure rather than aspiration, the results are not just equitable, they are competitive. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your insightful intervention and for bridging a valuable perspective on trade and industrial development. Of course, highlighting the importance of strong institutional coordination and private sector engagement. With this contribution, we conclude our second panel. I think we deserve a short coffee break, so we can take a moment to pause, recharge, and reflect on this rich discussion. And I think we will see here again at 11:30. So looking forward to continue this important exchange. Thank you.
Do you hear me?
Perfectly.
Oh, okay.
So welcome back to our final last panel of the day, titled He for She, Man as Allies in Industry. This session is particularly meaningful within today's celebration of the International Day of Women, as it aligns the role of men as active allies in advancing gender equality and fostering truly inclusive industrial ecosystem. It is my great pleasure to welcome and introduce our first speaker of this panel, Dr. Youssef Erayes, Associate Professor and Assistant Dean for Research at the Holy Spirit University of Kazlik in Lebanon. Is also the director of the Review and Dissemination Center, and his research focuses on food engineering, circular economy, and sustainable bioprocessing, with strong involvement in international projects supporting innovation and technology transfer in Lebanon and the Mediterranean region. Please join me in welcoming the professor to the floor.
Thank you, Martina. Thank you, UNIDO ITPO Italy, for this invitation and for honoring women in industry. First, let me begin with USEC, my university, the Holy Spirit University of Kazlik, which is founded in 1938 and certified in 1962 by the Lebanese Maronite Order, and grown into one of Lebanese leading university recognized for its commitment to academic excellence, research, and cultural heritage. Why I'm beginning with USEC? Because USEC is rooted in humanistic and Christian values, so the university has always promoted gender equity, with women playing increasingly significant roles in academic and administrative leadership, such as vice president, provost, deans, and head of departments. So their contribution have been instrumental in advancing research, foster innovation, and strengthening governance within the institution. So just let me introduce you some of our leader women in USEC. So we have the provost, Dr. Rima Matar, two vice presidents, so Dr. Fatin Al-Haj and Dr. Salim Ba'alini, and two deans, Dr. Rania Salemi, which is the dean of Doctorate College, and Dr. Daniel Khalife, which is the dean of Business School. Also, we have women leadership and research at USEC. So we have 4 directors of offices, of research offices. Dr. Sandy Rihana, director of Technology Transfer Office. We have a director of also USEC Publications, Mrs. Rula Jara. Dr. Tanya Bitar, which is director of Human Research Protection Program, and the Professor Minna Mzawa, who's the director of Higher Center for Research. Also at the School of Engineering, where I'm also doing my service, normally the School of Engineering is known as men-oriented school in general, but at USEC we have women at the leadership of SOE. We have the Associate Dean, Dr. Tilda Aiye, Assistant Dean, also Dr. Marita Hajej, Head of Department of Biomedical Engineering, Dr. Sandy Rihana, Head of Department of Agriculture and Food Engineering, Dr. Samar Azze, and the Head of Department of Chemical Engineering, Dr. Nancy Zgher. So this is just to show you really the importance of women at USEC. At our School of Engineering and the Department of Agriculture and Food Engineering, we have several examples where we developed and helped women in the Lebanese industry, and especially in the food industry sector. The first example here was Mrs. Samia Kanaan Zanni. We developed a natural peanut butter, so her company called Nature Made. And we had this industry to produce high quality natural peanut butter without additives and reducing the anti-nutrient factors, especially like phytic acid or aflatoxin, and ensuring the total absence of salmonella during the process. So we guide her during the production. We guide her for 6 months. We introduced new steps into the process by adding, for example, soaking, boiling of peanuts to remove phytic acid. We produced normally high-quality natural peanut butter without additives for a shelf life of 18 months, And we established a guideline for the industry for good manufacturing practices, especially to limit contamination by salmonella. So now this product is on the market, and you can find it on the market now. The second example where we did intervention in the industry is with Chateau Kana. The idea was to evaluate the feasibility of backing box packaging. Backing box packaging for wine are known in Europe, but not known in Lebanon. We cannot find in the market in Lebanon, and it is very new idea to the Lebanese even consumer to introduce such type of packaging. So this type of packaging is a sustainable and cost-effective solution for addressing sometimes surplus wine in the Lebanese market. And the idea also was to explore consumer attitude and preference towards this alternative packaging. So for Chateau Kana, we did also 8 months campaign when we used this type of red wines, and we monitored 18 physicochemical parameters. So we preserve the wines into packing box, and we see the evolution of the wine during these 8 months. So key findings: we have a good quality of wine after 6 and 8 months, even if you have a little bit decrease of SO2, but we don't have a change in phenolic or taste. And concerning the Lebanese consumer, they are willing to test wine package in BIB, but also the study suggests a significant opportunity for producers to educate consumers about the environmental also benefits and the quality preservation of such package, alternative package. And the last example, what I will do also. So it is a olive paste product with the company Life Bio with Mrs. Sarah Harawi. So the objective was also to increase the shelf life and ameliorate the texture and acceptability of olive paste with several flavors, because she have chili, basil, almond flavors. So we used this project. It was done also with Dr. Samar Azze, who's the head of Department of Agriculture and Food Engineering. We used an engineering design approach, and the project defined clear solution criteria for shelf life extension, authenticity, and the clean label compatibility. And we test also the sensory impact of additives. So the key findings with this type of product. We did a field visit, and process assessment were identified to identify the priority defects. And based on the identified gaps, process and raw material handling were optimized, and fresh samples were produced for shelf life validation. So the shelf life determination was 1 year. And after sensory evaluation, we identified some improvement action should be done to reduce, for example, sometimes excessive acidity, bitterness, and intensity. So these are our contribution to women. We have plenty, but we cannot in 10 minutes show all. But we have many projects with our community, and in the food sector and the food industry, many of the industry are led by women in Lebanon, and especially after the Lebanese economic crisis 2019, we have emergence of many industry, food industry led by women. So I would finish also with the twinning partnership project with Unido ITPO Italy. This project allows USAC also to participate in this project, and we shared our knowledge and our experiments and our technical services with the participant in this project. And it was also in coordination with Udine University. And to conclude, when he supports, she succeeds, and we all rise. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor, for your insightful intervention and for sharing such tangible examples of inclusive leadership within academia. Your experience, particularly in highlighting the strong presence of women in leadership position at your university and your engagement with the women-led enterprises is a powerful illustration of how everyday practices can actively foster gender equality in both education and industry. Now it's my great pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Mr. Eric Jenin, the National Project Coordinator in Ghana with the UNIDO family. He brings an extensive experience working with UNIDO headquarters in Vienna and has contributed to the implementation of several programs across Africa. In his current role in Ghana, he continues to support industrial development initiatives with a strong focus on inclusive growth, capacity building, and sustainable industrial transformation. Please join me in warmly welcoming my colleague to the floor.
Thank you very much, Martina, for the warm introduction. I want to say that I am very happy today for having industrial players, women in industry that are sharing their experiences working in industry, and then joining with counterparts from government that are sharing experiences in policies that shapes women intervention in industry. And so I cannot be happy but to also contribute to this discussion. And to do that is to bring to bear my experiences working in industry across Africa and then in Europe. My background is economic development. And so in UNIDO, I have supported almost every unit in terms of TC activities, that is project activities. And it is not common in UNIDO to have somebody who has worked almost in every project unit. Across UNIDO, there is no project unit that I haven't supported activities there. And so if you talk about agro-processing, if you talk about investment promotion, if you talk about energy, if you talk about decarbonization, if you talk about circular economy, skill development, amongst others, everywhere I have supported, and across Africa, especially in the eastern part of Africa, I cannot single out any country that my support hasn't reached out to. And so it is a good opportunity today to also bring to bear those experiences and how men could also help or support women to also be more inclusive in the industrial sector. UNIDO's intervention has been towards the industrial sector throughout the world. And so knowledge and experiences within the industrial sector as women support that could help to shape the sector abound. But I will say that, yes, moving forward, we need to encourage more women because you see in most developing countries, industrialization currently contributes to between 25 and 30% of their GDP. But women's intervention, women's participation has been very minute, if you ask me. And so how do we support women moving forward to be part of that industrial process? Economies throughout the world are migrating from agro to industrial, but oftentimes in most developing countries, this process has been jumped. So you see more women in the services sector. And so their contribution that will transform the economy from that agro-based to the industrial processes are not well captured. And so it is for men, for us to encourage women to be part of that industrial process. And so my speech or my contribution in everyday actions men can take to support women in the world, in the workplace, and foster more inclusive participation in industry is very, very spot on. And so I'll share some of the information that I think that when we work together as men, we can support women in that direction. An inclusive workplace that requires an inclusive workplace requires intentional action from everyone, especially men, who often hold positions of influence in many industries. Everyday behaviors are very key. It is not just the policy behaviors, but it's not just the formal policies, but the significant role in shaping whether women feel respected, heard, or valued at workplace are key. And so we do not only have to focus on formal policies, but also the everyday behaviors. These are key to ensuring that women will be given that recognition. When women are fully included in the industrial process, it shapes the whole dynamics because women are very keen in terms of decision-making and then stronger overall performances. Translating that same idea in the home into industry is very crucial. And so we need to begin to think of it. Again, my presentation or my submission here will be more practical, that to ensure that everyday action men can take to actively support women and foster a more inclusive and sustainable workplace environment is ensured. And so I have about 4 or 5 most fundamental actions that I will be putting forward that men could take to support women in that direction. The first is active listening and amplifying women's voices. Again, challenging unconscious biases, and then mentorship and sponsorship. We can also talk about promoting equitable distribution of work and opportunities, and ensuring that women voices are heard and men are always in their position to support women against sexism and then harassment. I'm sure that if we can focus our interventions here, it could help women. So in terms of active listening and amplifying women's voices, active listening involves giving full attention to what women say in meetings, discussions, and informal conversations without interrupting or dismissing their contributions. Oftentimes, men will be given them more opportunity to amplify their voices, speak out, but we should be deliberate that we will give every opportunity to everyone around the table. In that regard, women are not, neglected in their conversations. Amplifying women's voices means intentionally acknowledging their ideas and ensuring they are heard and recognized by others in the room. That is what I have alluded to, that we should be always deliberate to give women that opportunity to also speak out, and we must also ready to listen to them as and when they speak. Yes, the practical validation, this practical validation and contribution, and also bringing their ideas back into focus to help create workplace everywhere, everyone's input in valued and respected. So we are saying that in doing this, we have to ensure that women's ideas and conversations will be well focused, and then trying to shape them in a way that will be well valued and respected. These are key to whatever that we do to ensure that women's voices will be heard. That is the open sesame. Once we give attention to women's voices, the attention will be focused on what they can offer. And in doing that, we can be sure that women can take a better place in the industry. Then challenging unconscious biases. Challenging unconscious biases is the fact that women and men do not have that same, grounds of recognition, against the background that men are always in the lead and women are always in the background. How do we challenge unconscious biases? This begins with recognizing that every woman or everyone has automatic assumptions and therefore taking deliberate steps to question them. And so that means that we are always on the known, and to be sure that, yes, we are not going to be biased against the woman on the grounds that the man is masculine, on the grounds that the man is well articulated, and so on and so forth. So that is something that men can do. Again, men can reflect on how they assign tasks and responsibilities, ensuring that roles such as note-taking or event planning are not automatically given to women. So in most cases, women are given those soft positions and roles at the workplace, making sure that they arrange the meetings and then put everybody around the table. Immediately after that, they move to the background, and men will be always in the front. How can we ensure that we balance these activities at the workplace, especially in the industrial sector, so that women can be given that chance to also lead meetings and not to just plan the meetings, make sure everybody sit around the table, and at the moment everyone sit around the table, women are asked to be, to be relegated to the background. These are key interventions that we can ensure that at the industrial sector we don't, take this. Again, we must be mindful of language, that sometimes women are stereotyped with some jokes, and men are also giving that, bigger or larger, recognition in terms of jokes. For example, if we label a woman as bossy and then decide to label the man as assertive and then strong leader, immediately it diminishes the woman's attitude and then the ability and character to lead. And so we should be very mindful when we are trying to label any of these sex groups, such that we will not look down on any body as men. So that is also to talk about mentorship and sponsorship. We must be deliberate about this attitude. How do we ensure that at the workplace, we do not only give that opportunity of mentorship and sponsorship to men? The mentorship and sponsorship are essential tools for supporting women's career growth and ensuring they have access to guidance and opportunities. So we should be deliberate about this attitude and to ensure that we give women that recognition and then the opportunity. Again, mentorship involves men actively supporting junior women by sharing knowledge, offering advice, and helping them navigate workplace challenges. So these are key interventions that we can ensure as men to give to women, to make sure that, yes, they are also given every opportunity to learn on the job, or they are given every opportunity to, also upgrade themselves, and not just the men. If the workplace, as in the case of every environment, is dynamic. The system keeps changing. So if you don't always build the attitude of giving people the opportunity to upgrade themselves, to learn on the job, to also build a lot of experiences that will take them to the next level, as we move up the ladder, they are always left behind. So we should be deliberate about sponsoring and then mentoring women so that they can also get to the heights that we expect. And then also promoting equity or equitable distribution of work and opportunities. Promoting equitable distribution of work and opportunities ensure that high impact and challenging assignments are shared fairly among all employees. So in this case, we need not to give the soft assignments to women, and then the high order assignments, we give it to men. Once men go through those high order assignments, it gives them that confidence and that privilege to own and then to lead. And so we should also pay that same attention to women, especially at the industrial sector. Again, it involves being intentional about who is selected to present. And so in most cases, in decision-making, we try, and when we want to go out there to sell or to make whatever we are doing known, we normally select men. How do we change that dynamics so that in moving forward, we can give more opportunity to women to also be out there to represent our industrial sector. So that is key. Again, being an ally and speaking up against sexism and harassment, as I did mention, yes, men should be ready to speak in that direction, such that the woman will always feel comfortable. Being an ally and speaking up against sexism and harassment is non-negotiable. Yes, it is non-negotiable for creating a safe and respectful work environment. And so men should be ready as and when issues of sexism and harassment comes up. Men should be ready to amplify that, to stand in for women, to make their voices heard, such that women could also build that confidence that, yes, nobody could, look down upon them or harass them at the workplace. That in itself builds their confidence. Again, men can intervene directly when it is safe to do so, or provide support afterward by checking in with the affected colleague and offering assistance. When women go into that, extent, it is for men to also take to the lead and not to leave it for the women within the industry to, solve these problems. When women understand that men are always there to support them anytime issues of harassment comes, they are very confident to lead, because they are fully aware that as and when issues clock up, there are voices than women that are always ready to speak for them. So that for me is very crucial. Then one other fundamental thing that we need to also talk about is educating oneself and being open to learning. Yes, we do not know everything. We should be open to learning. When men are ready to learn about women and understand their everyday thinking, their everyday way of life, it helps to shape the idea of how to approach them, especially at the industrial sector. So educating oneself and being open to learning is an ongoing process that requires continuous effort and commitment over time. Men can take initiatives by reading relevant materials, attending workshops, and engaging in discussions about gender equity in the workplace. These are all issues that men could, take as part of their everyday life, such that they can understand women better and then be prepared to support them at the workplace. So in order not to, prolong this, I will conclude by saying that creating an inclusive workplace is achieved, or will be very important to achieve through policies and consistent everyday behavior that define the culture and interactions. And so we should be prepared to lay down policies in a consistent way that shapes the everyday behaviors, and then define the culture and then interactions that are within the workspace, especially at the industrial sector. Again, small actions such as listening, speaking up, and then sharing opportunities fairly can have significant impact on how valued and included women feel at work. So these are very important, takeaways that we need to practice as men. Again, men play a critical role in the driving inclusion by actively challenging bias, supporting women's growth, and then holding themselves as others accountable. And so holding themselves and others accountable, we should always be prepared to hold others accountable, especially in the areas of harassing women, and then also trying to limit women's sexism, and then projecting and then amplifying them as and when it happens at the workplace. And so in concluding, I would say that yes, men should be always prepared to support women, because in our part of the world, especially in Africa, the industrial sector is beginning to boom. But in terms of numbers, men are always taking the lead. The limitations are many, but I think that men could also take up some of these responsibilities and ensure that they support women to also migrate successfully from the agro base or the informal sector, and again the service sector, and then focus their activities or economic activities more at the industrial sector. These and many more men could do. So on that grounds, I will end my submission, and thank you very much, Martina, for putting this together.
Thank you very much. As WOMA, my heartfelt thank you for your insightful, powerful, and practical intervention. Your emphasis, on everyday action like active listening, amplifying women's voices, challenging unconscious bias, promoting fair access to opportunities, and tackling harassment show clearly that inclusion is not only built through policies, but through daily behaviors. I repeat again, daily behaviors. So your message reminds us that being an ally requires intention, accountability, and conscious learning and strengthen the organization as a whole. So thank you again, Eric, for your speech and your intervention today. So now it's my great pleasure to introduce my colleague, our next and last speaker of this powerful panel, Ms. Andrea Carapellese, Deputy Head of UNIDO ATPO Italy. In his leadership role within the organization, he contributes to shaping strategic direction and advancing international initiative. With an extensive experience in project development across multiple countries, as well as strong background in the private sector, he is a recognized expert in industrial development, actively promoting innovation, partnership, and sustainable growth. It's my genuine pleasure to welcome Andrea to the floor.
Good morning, everyone. Let me start by saying how proud we are at UNIDO ATPO Italy to have organized this panel. And let me also thank Martina for the introduction, for the excellent coordination, and for the moderation. Well, it's very important to create moment like this and to keep these issues at the center of the conversation. And I'm especially glad to be part of this panel because I have always believed one thing very strongly, that this challenge cannot be left to women alone. So it's a big bias that we have also in our day-to-day activities. And this challenge, if we would like to call it like that, has to be addressed together. For centuries, everywhere, men have occupied most of the space where power, language, priorities, and also opportunity were shaped. And that is one reason why, even in 2026, we still need panel like this, not only to celebrate success, but to put also a needed spotlight on what still has to change a lot. That is also fully in line with the spirit of this event, which frames he for she as a matter of shared responsibility in building more inclusive industrial ecosystems and societies in general. So this day I would like that is not only about recognition, about discussion, but also about direction. It's about the future of industries and our organizations, and about a very simple truth that industry and societies cannot be truly innovative, competitive, and sustainable also if half of the talent in the world is still underrepresented in decision-making, technical roles, investment pipelines, leadership spaces. And honestly, I don't think that is only about inclusion. It's a very nice word, but is about balance, is about better result, is about it's something that happens also when we talk about environmental transition and climate change challenge. We need to make one point very clear to everybody, that change become easier when people see that it improves performance. And having women in improve performance. So because the point is not only fairness. So everyone benefit from a more inclusive and participatory business ecosystem. We know there are many statistics on that. And the message is that when women equally work, lead, and innovate, economies are more competitive. more resilient, and better positioned for sustainable growth, with an indirect advantage also for men. So, if I have to reduce my message today to 4 words, I'm very happy that all of them were in some way mentioned today, even from Martina and my colleague Eric, last speaker, because the first and most important to have a result and impact is accountability. Accountability is the first word. I fully agreed with Eric, because in Accra, in Beirut, in Baghdad, in Vienna or Rome, gender equality is not a favor that men do for women. It's a leadership standard that men must meet, and this is exactly when this he for she approach, if we would like to simplify like that, became serious. So not when men say that believe in gender equality, but when they can be measured by what they actually do, what they promote, what they sponsor, who they include in the delegation, for example, in our day-to-day activities, who they put around the decision-making table, and what kind of workplace culture they tolerate. So in this sense, and this not should be just a campaign of good intentions. It's a test of accountability. This is also very much reflected in our daily roadmap with our also colleagues and gender experts. Roadmap that places leadership accountability at the center and states that for example, no UNIDO leader should and speaker should participate in all male panels or all male delegations. That is, it could be a small science, but it's something. And fully agree with Eric, with Martina, that it's important also to change our role in day-to-day activities. From support, just support women, to work with, from mentorship to sponsorship and so on. So the second word is access, because we can deliver any kind of activities, training and awareness campaign, but the access to the most relevant places for women is still the big challenge. So real inclusion must be visible in the room, especially in the room where decisions are made. So in our project, I think in our ITPO Italy project and UNIDO in general, this means something very, very concrete. For example, it means not asking only how many women joined a training, but whether that training was designed, for example, under gender lens, so that women can really benefit from it, speak freely, participate, actively participate, so contribute fully to the discussion. It means that when we organize and accompany business delegations, we create the right conditions for women entrepreneurs and professionals to engage with the business counterparts with really confidence and authority, regardless of local habits or cultural barriers of the counterpart. Sometimes we justify a lot bad behavior because of the culture. It means that when we speak with institutions, chambers of commerce, association of entrepreneurs, investors and stakeholders, we make it very clear that our project is not only about investment promotion, technology transfer, capacity building, matchmaking. They are also about supporting people by asking for new approaches and better results, beyond ticking a box. So this matters because many gatekeepers, especially in industry, are still men. Managers, buyers, investors, supervisors, institutional leaders, even in the trade fair, we participate every month in many trade fairs. And if you see in the booth, it's full of men in the decision-making position, and maybe the women are more used like for introduction, but not for discussion about real issues and businesses. So progress does not come only from empowering women individually, but it also comes from changing the behavior of those who still control the access to the women. Third, that is more general, maybe less connected with our day-to-day job work, but is crucial, even more the others, because it's more systemic, is culture. The third word is culture, because this is where change often begins. So in meetings, in emails, who gets credit, who gets interrupted also sometimes, in whose idea is called strategic and whose idea is called supportive. So sometimes the most important action a man can take is to intervene in real time. Sometimes we are shy to do it, but we have to do. If a woman is interrupted, bring the floor back to her. If her idea is repeated by a man and suddenly accepted, name always the original contributors. If a joke is a sexist joke, do not smile diplomatically. We do sometimes, but stop it immediately. If biased language is used, challenge it. So I try to do this work on myself every day, and it's not always easy, I have to admit, because sometimes even if you grow up in a very progressive culture, a biased expression come out almost automatically sometimes, simply because it has been normalized for years in our culture and traditions. And I can realize the difference now, respect just 10 or 20 years ago, really. But words matter. Words matter, as a famous Italian filmmaker said a few years ago. Le parole sono importanti, though the words matter, and they are. They are, because language is never neutral, and we are rediscovering it, especially in those challenging times. Because word, it can either reinforce a hierarchy or begin to change it. Last word, even more general than the other, but crucial, is care. Care, because this is the point that personally I feel much more deeply today than I did a year ago, because I, in the meantime, became a father. And that experience has made me more aware, for sure, almost daily, of how many biases still exist around parenthood, work, and support roles. Cultural change is very slow, even in progressive societies. But if we are serious about he for she, then we must say clearly that this also includes care work, parental leave, flexibility, and family-friendly systems. Men and the people around us, even women, should stop asking how can I help and start asking what in the system is still working better for me and for her, for all of us. Because this is a real question. A woman should not pay, for example, for a professional price for motherhood. And when she returns to work, we should not see the absence. We should consider like an international experience. We should see added experience, resilience, stronger prioritization, enormous management capacity in development in real life. So redistributing care is also in the public imagination is part of the gender equality, and is not a side issue, is a structural issue. So let me conclude as the last speaker with a very simple call to action, also to leave something like homework through a call of action for men in industry and in retail organization, even in UNIDO. So in the next 30 days, we can try to do four things. So open one door, give one woman in our network, in our office, visible credit in a room that matters, and try to challenge very seriously one biased behavior the moment it happens, not after. And if you are also in leadership, add a fourth. So measure what is happening in your team, because get measured, get managed, and what get managed can definitely change. So if we want women shaping the future of industry and society in general, then men must stop seeing themselves as like external support that we facilitate the environment, but we create this issue, this imbalance along the history, and we have to be hands-on part of the solution. Thank you very much to everybody.
Thank you very much for your care, your honesty, Andrea. Actually, I really appreciate, your call for action in these 30 days. And thank you, of course, for taking on the responsibility of closing this final, very powerful panel of the day. Actually, in your role of deputy head, your strong leadership and commitment clearly emerge, and we truly appreciate your contribution in sharing how our office actively integrates gender equality and gender mainstream across all the activity within consistency, accountability, and conviction. So your message reminds us that investing in the future of women means building stronger society and more inclusive and resilient industrial ecosystem. So thank you again for translating the vision into concrete and impactful action. I think we close our panels, and now I'm proud, to open the floor for Q&A, for question and answers. So please don't be shy, break the ice. This is, the space and the time to ask question. And also I ask Valentina, my colleague, if she can, help me to facilitate and see. Actually, we have a question. What leadership qualities from Professor Youssef Rayes from Lebanon, what leadership qualities do you believe women bring that are currently underutilized in industry? I think this is more to the second panel question.
If there is someone from the second panel that can answer to this question, otherwise we can move forward. Chantal, yes, please.
Chantal, yeah.
Yes. In brief, women bring adaptive, collaborative, system-oriented leadership, the capability industry needs for sustainable and resilient growth, yet still underutilized now. I don't know if I answered the question, but it's in brief.
I think Youssef have already left the session due to another meeting, so I collect your answer and I forward to him. Thank you, Chantal, for your answer.
There is also a raised hand. If you, Mr. Awadef Rashid, could kindly put your question in the question and answer feature in the no. The hand is off.
Don't be shy. There is also another raised hand. Mariam.
Thank
Welcome.
you.
Good morning.
Thank you and good afternoon, actually.
Yes,
Thank
you're
you
right.
very much for perfectly moderating this amazing session. No, I just wanted to briefly share my response to that question because I think it was a very interesting and important question. I'm coming from the anthropology and sociology background. So I strongly believe that if we can name one factor that women are adding to the areas like industry, which are known more as male-dominant areas in the world, will be resilience. Women are by nature angels of resilience because the historical role they had, over time has been always to keep their family and kids and also the society as resilient as possible. And they will share the same kind of role in the, workplace and also in the businesses when they are running a business. It doesn't mean that men are not capable of, shaping or forming resilient businesses. I think it's just a different kind of capacity that women can add by nature to the industry. So that's one thing I have learned maybe from the years working in the field, especially during the COVID-19, that women household or those who had small businesses has been very resilient in spite of the challenging situation that pandemic created.
Thank you so much for your answer and your contribution. I see that there is another raised hand.
Yes, Awatef Rashid. If you want, I can allow him to talk, Martina.
Yeah, please.
Mr. Awatef, you have the floor.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Hi again.
I'm sorry, madam. Sorry.
I was trying to chat, to write, but it's disabled. Sorry about that. I don't know why.
For all participants, there is a feature in the bottom bar of the Zoom, question answer.
I tried it. It's still disabled. Anyways, my question is about the policies and strategies in implementation. Like we have the policies, we have the strategies to empower women economically and to include them for a better participation in the SME and other stuff to engage them. However, the implementation is still faced by barriers, including the social and the institutionalized. For instance, we have two examples. I wished the Iraqi team to exhibit them. We have two cases like Marwa and Shams. One of them has a good project relevant to climate change and environmental stuff, where we are facing a problem with the climate change issues. Iraq is one of the most 5 dangerous countries in the world with regards to the climate change. So this girl has initiated a project which is it's a gold green. It's an environmental project. The other one has a love basket chocolate, and both needed money, but they didn't have access to finance. So this is one issue. We have in Iraq 10% of women are getting access to finance. I hope the Iraqi team is listening to me now, Mr. Maytham. We also have institutionalized barriers, such as the barriers to the climate change issues. The girl with the gold green Green Gold, sorry, project. She has a fertilizers project and shade plants project. She has 2 projects, and she had so much problems getting access to be approved for her projects. So how we're going to implement the strategies that we have through the Women's Empowerment Department or Directorate and other mechanisms representing women's issues in Iraq, like to implement, to get more engagement and to get more participation in Iraq. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your question. I think the speakers from the second panel.
Thank you. Can I answer Ms. Awatif about this question?
Please, of course, go ahead.
Okay,
the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Awatif, for this question and focus on some successful stories from Iraq. Actually, this webinar, according to the limited of time, there is a lot of stories in Iraq that focus especially on the climate change challenges. I mentioned in my speech about this environmental protection strategies and how make the women as a decision maker, especially in adaptation strategy. And this challenge, when we talk about the empowering entrepreneurship especially for young girls and ladies in this field, we try to make them access to the financial issues in the first way. And the Riyadh, as Ms. Abir mentioned, Riyadh is like an open gate for take the advantage of financing initiatives. This is one point. And the second level, how to increase their capabilities in the soft skills for the business entrepreneurship, like an intellectual property rights and how to innovate and registration their business in the governmental chamber of commerce and the other institutions, to take their level of business to be officially formed in the formal economy, and there can build their how to make and get the challenge of the male dominant business area. This is another field, and the policies, there is a two figure of strategies on policies. One come with the overall aspects, and some initiatives that's focused especially on increasing the skills of the women and the graduated students, female graduated students, that increase their capabilities to do business, especially in the industrial fields. I think that's with this approach and with these policies, with the international cooperation with the UNIDO and other global organization, we can reach a level of good, successful stories and can inspire others, girls and other women community. I think this is maybe a good roadmap in the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Actually, I'm collecting all this feedback, and we are going, to have other panel, under, discussion webinar like this to strengthen the communication and also the cooperation. Actually, you anticipate my closure, so okay. There are any further questions from the audience? Samar Azzi, I see your hands. Please, the floor is yours. We cannot hear you because your microphone. Okay, there we go.
Okay, good.
Thank you, Martina. Good morning, everyone. It's very interesting webinar. Thank you. I was wondering, based on your experience, expertise, what is one most effective lever you've seen to change that women rarely hold leadership roles till now? We are in 2026, and we are still holding these types of webinars. So why do you think, and what is the most effective lever to change this? Policy, education, maybe something else? I was thinking maybe of under-discussed topic, maybe the woman's own readiness, agency, or mutual support, maybe? I don't know. Thank you.
Thank you, Samar, for your question. If there is someone who's gonna answer this very straight to the point question made by Samar, Professor Samar Hatsi. Chantal, I see your hand, please.
Okay, but as I mentioned in my introduction, it's not about inclusion, it's about transformation, and it's about a changing behavior, even if it is 2026. And Mr. Andrea mentioned this also, that it's not empowering, but changing behavior. I think as in a brief answer. Thank you.
Thank you. I see also Mario. I like this conversation. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, I just want to add maybe another perspective that while I fully agree with Chantal and Andrea that behavior or the performance are very important. But I believe that we have to admit that the dominant paradigm, especially in industry, is still very much systematically male dominant, which means that while the performance is very important, but we have to go back to the opportunities that prepare women for having a, significant and outstandingly well performance. And the fact is that still many of the women across the world in different sectors of industries do not even find the opportunity from the first step to learn how to perform as good as men in many of these sectors. Many of the women in the world in different regions, do not have the opportunity to be the members of chambers of commerces. So these kind of discriminations are not just based on the, simply because of the not learning the behavior or not being able to perform as good as men, but it's systematically encouraged by the paradigm that exists in the industry. It's not just by individuals, but it's also the structure that exists in the world and doesn't give the opportunity to the women sitting in the same class at the school that when they want to enter the market, have access to the same range of opportunities for competing with the men. So when we talk about, for example, competitiveness, we should go back and talk about the competitive skills and the capacity built for men and women, how equal these opportunities are. So I want to highlight that I believe we should see the bigger picture, which I fully agree that, the culture, behavior, performance, opportunities, policies, strategies are very important. But if the paradigm we are living in doesn't give equal opportunities for learning these, these issues, everything we're talking about the equality or gender mainstreaming will be only lip service. So I fully believe that when we talk about transformation, we also think about the paradigm shift and transformation of a male-dominant paradigm in industry.
Thank you, Mariam. Andrea.
Yes, no, I fully agree with what was said. Also because sometimes is quite frustrating because we as implementing agency for project all around the world, we have to face with a number of challenges that sometimes are justified by the culture, and this is the issue. So when we had to be very conscious that in the project cycle management we have some aspect that we can control, that are like the output directly in some way addressed by the project, and some other that are the environment, the paradigm in which we are working. And we have to strongly focus on the first in order to have at least a small impact and a scalable impact, hopefully in the future. Coming back to my 4 words, two are words that two aspects are words that are intimately responsible of project manager and all of us involved, like accountability and access, because through the project, even if with a very, very, very small impact, but we can give a sign, we can concretely transform the efforts in something. Hoping that in the future this initiative, this project, this science can transform also the local culture and also the concept of care. That again for me is very important to take in consideration.
Thank you, Andrea. If there are no further questions, I will move toward the conclusion of this intense day. For the final reflection and a summary of the key takeaway, it's my pleasure to invite my colleague, Ms. Mariam Javan Shahraki, Investment Technology Promotion Officer, and also part of the UNIDO Gender team, to inspire us and provide a brief wrap-up. Thank you, Mariam.
Thank you very much, Martina. It's a great honor to have a few words in this amazing panels. I really enjoyed all of the remarks shared by the opening remark speakers, and also amazing ladies in the panels and gentlemen. I also represent ITP Network as the gender focal point. And as we come to the close of this excellent webinar, I would like to sincerely thank first UNIDO ITPO Italy, all the speakers, panelists, and participants for today's valuable exchanges. I would like to also especially congratulate you, Martina and Diana, for bringing together such an outstanding group of speakers. Their experiences and insights have made today's discussion very rich and inspiring. And we have heard powerful examples of women, generation after generation, contributing to innovation, entrepreneurship, policy making, and industrial development across different regions, which was very inspiring for myself. And many of the speakers reminded us of the efforts of their mothers and grandmothers, and of the fact that the opportunities we have today are the result of the dedication and the struggles of many women and men who worked tirelessly in the past to advance these rights. And today has been an important moment for us in UNIDO to celebrate these achievements. At the same time, celebration should always lead to action. And as I said, the reality on the ground is that industry, like many other areas, is still systematically male-dominant today. For example, during the COVID-19, we learned a lot of lessons about this, discrimination, which is existing systematically in different areas, including industries. We learned that there is a huge gap, for example, of gender-sensitive statistics in different industrial sectors. It is really important to share these lessons together. We need to continue strengthening practical mechanisms for sharing and for talking about gender mainstreaming in industry through better access, to give better access to finance, technology, skills, leadership opportunity, and equal participation in decision-making for the younger generation of women and also men. As our director of ITPO, Mrs. Lumei Xu, mentioned earlier, we are proud that our ITPOs have been not only active, but truly proactive in advancing the Women in Industry agenda. Yesterday, I had the opportunity of receiving the Gender Empowerment Award in institutional category on behalf of UNIDO ITPO Bahrain. And this kind of practical commitments is exactly what we all are working to promote across the network. I strongly believe that gender equality should not be one-day discussion. It should be integrated into how we design policies and build partnership, support businesses, and design our projects as a measure for progressing this initiative. This also requires the engagement of men as partners, and I really like the topic of the last panel, Martina, and I appreciate, the attention that the designers of this panel had to call men as partners and allies, because inclusive industrial development is a shared responsibility. And as a gender focal point for UNIDO ITP network, I would like to reaffirm our commitment in this network to supporting this agenda across our global network. Let us move forward with the renewed energy to build industries where talent, innovation, and opportunity are open to all of the women and young girls who are coming after us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mariam. My heartfelt thank you for helping us bring to a close such a rich, intense, and inspiring day, filled with meaningful insights and outstanding speakers. But before closing this such an amazing webinar, allow me, to sincerely thank my colleagues who, support me in organizing such, a successful webinar. Now I think it's my time and my turn to conclude. So I kindly ask you, my colleague, if she can project my one slide presentation. Okay, thank you. So we choose the title Women Shaping the Future of Industry because the future is built through our present, because we believe the time is now. We must take action, raise our voices, and work together to build a strong, inclusive, and forward-looking industrial ecosystem, while also laying the foundation for the future we want to see. The future is indeed female. A future can only thrive when women are fully part of the industrial process, because an equal balance of roles leads to sustainable economic growth. This balance is not only about fairness, but also about responsibility and accountability, a shared accountability that each of us must embrace to actively shape more inclusive and resilient industry and society. For this reason, I'm pleased to announce that This will become a recurrent format dedicated each time to a different country. The next stop, as agreed with our colleagues, will be Ghana, where we'll continue this journey with a fully dedicated edition. Then, in September, we will also host an online networking coffee, bringing together companies, industry actors, and skilled providers to strengthen global cooperation and collaboration network. It will be an informal conversation around the table, focus on exchanging opportunities and challenges related to advancing women in industry with themes tailored to local priority. So thank you once again to everyone for being part of this meaningful journey. The future is ours to shine, to step forward with courage, with purpose, and with confidence and shape our future in industry. Thank you again from my heart and see you very soon.
Thank you very much, Martina.
Thank you, Martina.
Pleasure and honor.
Thank you for all. Thank you. Thank you, Martina.
Thank you, Martina. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.